Barakatah Yahweh, Bashem, Yahushai, Bashem, Rakha HaKodash. Welcome to another lesson. This is going to be a lesson on the Hebrew language. Not too long ago, maybe about a couple of weeks ago, I did a lesson, maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe 3. I did a lesson on the Hebrew language and its origins, based off of the scriptures, and went through and went through a few Hebrew words, went through the tracing it back to its original source, which was a man by the name of Eber, whose name in the Hebrew is Ibar. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to go through the Hebrew alphabet and give you some of the meanings of these words, should I say letters, because there's 22 letters or characters in the Hebrew language, beginning with A and ending with Tha. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 times 2 is 22. So there's 22 characters in the Lashawan Qadash, or the Paleo Hebrew. It goes up when you go into the Aramaean, but that's another topic. But these 22 characters here each have a numerical value and each have a meaning of what they are. Now the A, the numerical value for I is 1, the Ba is 2, Ga is 3, Da is 4, Ha is 5, Wa is 6, Za is 7, Cha 8, Ta 9, Ya 10, and then you have the Ka, La, Ma, Na, Sa, Ai, Pata, Za, Kwa, Ra, Sha, Ta, which goes, Ya is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 200, 300, and 400. Okay, those are the numerical values. That's why when you go through Revelation, the 17th chapter and the 5th verse, and you have the right translation of it, and you add all those letters together in certain groups, they all add up to 666, because there's a numerical value to the Hebrew language. Why is the Hebrew language important? Because we are Israelites and our language is the Hebrew language, and we are going back to that language. And the names of the Heavenly Father and of His Son are in the Hebrew language. You have here in the book of Acts, the 26th chapter, when Yahushai, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, when he came to the Apostle Paul spoke different languages. But let's see what language the Messiah spoke to him in. Acts 26 and 13. At midday, O King, I saw in the way a light from heaven, above the brightness of the sun, shining round about me and them which journeyed with me. This is Paul giving an account of what happened to him on his way to persecute the Israelites that were teaching about Yahushai. It says, and when we were all fallen to the earth, I heard a voice speaking unto me and saying in the Hebrew tongue. So this voice that spoke to Saul, whose name was later changed to Paul, that the voice that came out spoke in the Hebrew tongue, or in the Hebrew language. It says, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me? It is hard for thee to kick against the pricks. And I said, who art thou, Lord? And he said, I am Jesus. Now here it says Jesus, but we know that that's not the Lord's name, because it said that the language that this voice spoke to him in was in the Hebrew tongue, right? So he says, he said, I am Jesus, which we don't like saying that, whom thou persecutest. So this name here, so-called Jesus, translates back this is from the Greek, Jesus, which goes back to the Hebrew origin, which really should be Yahushai, but they have an extra Y here, Yahushai, which it really should be Yahushai. Okay, so that's who came to the Apostle Paul. His name was Yahushai. He said, I am Yahushai whom thou persecutest. And when Yahushai came to him, which he was already resurrected up into in the heavens, he spoke to the Apostle Paul in the Hebrew tongue. Okay? So that's letting you know that the language of the heavens is the Hebrew tongue, the Hebrew language. All right? Now, it says here in the prologue to the book of Ecclesiasticus in the Bible, or Sirach, the prologue of the wisdom of Jesus, the son of Sirach, or the wisdom of Yahushai, the son of Sirach. And you jump down here, it says, wherefore let me entreat you to read it with favor and attention, and to pardon us wherein we may seem to come short of some words, which we have labored to interpret. For the same things uttered in Hebrew and translated into another tongue have not the same force in them, and not only these things, but the law itself and the prophets and the rest of the books have no small difference when they are spoken in their own language. Why? Because the Hebrew language is a direct language, and the Hebrew language is an easy language because it's a I don't want to say it to sound wrong, but it's a base language. Not that it's base as far as being low and despicable, but base as far as being simple, you know. And it's very simple to be understood. Matter of fact, let me get that in the book of 1 Corinthians real quick, the 14th chapter. Bear with me 1 second. 14 and 8, I believe it is. For if the trumpet give an uncertain sound, who shall prepare himself to the battle? So likewise ye, except ye utter by the tongue words easy to be understood, how shall it be known what is spoken? For you shall speak into the air. So really we're supposed to be speaking words easy to be understood. Why? Because our language, the Hebrew language, the Lashawan Qadash, is an easy language to be understood, is an easy language to be spoken. And it's the primary language. I should have used the word primary instead. It's the primary language above all languages on the planet, because it was the first language that was ever spoken by all peoples of the earth when they were together as one. And this is Ezekiel 3 and 4. And he said unto me, Son of man, go get thee unto the house of Israel, and speak with my words unto them. For thou art not sent to a people of a strange speech and of a hard language, but to the house of Israel. Not to many people of a strange speech and of a hard language, because these other languages that come out, that stem out of the Hebrew, are harder languages to be understood and to be broken down, because they have many more components to them. But the Hebrew language is very plain, very direct, you know, like the Apostle Elder Tahar just did a video on the Holy Spirit, you know, because some brothers were saying Kodash Rakah, because you're thinking in the English like the Apostle Tahar said, you know, but it's really Rakah Kodash, because the subject goes first. And even in the Spanish language and other languages, it's the same way. Like in school, in high school, and, you know, and even throughout, you know, my childhood, and, you know, as I grew up, people, you know, Jake, especially Judah, you know, would make fun of Ephraim, because they would say paper toilet. They say it's not paper toilet, it's toilet paper. No, but it was paper toilet, because the correct way of saying it is paper toilet. But in the English language, you say toilet paper. But when you speak Spanish, the way it's set up like the Hebrew. You know, you bring out the subject first, and then whatever describes it after. So toilet, paper. Paper, toilet. You know, and they would make fun of him and throw me that book. You know, and things of that nature. They would make fun of him because it was flipped, but it was really the right way of saying it. You know, so the Lord said that he didn't send us to people of strange speech and of a hard language. So the Hebrew language is very direct, very easy to understand. And the Lord gave Adam that language. And that's why he went and he let Adam name all the animals. You know, and whatever he named them, that's what the Lord gave the names to of them. Genesis 2:18, and the Lord power said, it is not good that the man, I just want to jump to the point, verse 20. And Adam gave names to all cattle and to the fowls of the air and to every beast of the field, but for Adam there was not found a helpmeet for him. 19. And out of the ground the Lord power formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air, and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof. So Adam named these different animals, and it was pretty much a basic, easy thing that he called them. And you have some examples of that in the actual Hebrew language, or actually one actual example. I'm trying to get to it. Okay, now what we're gonna do, is we're gonna go through the alphabet, and we're gonna give you how to pronounce the letter and what the letter means. Now, keep in mind that not every letter has or they don't have the meaning for every single letter, because some of it was lost, and some of it is speculation. But what we do have, we will deal with, accordingly. Okay, so the first letter in the Hebrew alphabet is a ah, and it's pretty much just pronounced ah, and that's pretty much how you pronounce every letter, in the Hebrew alphabet, except for the I. You have the I here, that's the only letter in the Hebrew alphabet that's pronounced differently from the other ones. You have the ah sound, and then you have the I sound. Like you have the name or the word Malak, which means king. That's Malak. That's just one sound as far as the ah is concerned. But then you have the name Yahawashi, which you have the ah and the I sound in Yahawashi's name. Okay, so the ah comes from a Hebrew word, alap, which means the number 1,000, or it could mean also cattle. Okay, and then when you take this character here and you turn it either clockwise, if you turn it counterclockwise, where the long stem here is on the top, it will look like a stick figure of a cattle head, and you have let me see, American Steakhouse. Okay, American Steakhouse. Let me just go to images, and if you see here, you have, it's a little squared off, but if you connect this into an upside down triangle and this going across like that, you have, and you see it from the top, the fork and the knife make the ah, the ah for alap. As you can see here, if we were to turn this counterclockwise, where this long thing is on the top, you would see an actual stick figure cattle head, as you see here in the American Steakhouse logo. Okay, and that's the best example I can give, because that's the only one that I always remember. So ah is pronounced ah. It comes from the Hebrew word alap, which means 1,000 or cattle. All right, the next one, just bear with me. I gotta mess with this. The next one is ba, right? And ba, when you break it down, comes from the Hebrew word bayath. Sometimes you might see Beth, like Bethlehem. It's really bayath lacham, which is house of bread. So the word bayath simply means house. Okay, so that's what the name or the letter ba means. It comes from the Hebrew word bayath, which is house. Okay, now going down to the next one, I got to keep clicking on this. The next one is the ga. Now the Hebrew letter ga comes from the Hebrew word gamal, which means camel, and you have a character in the Bible by the name of Gamaliel, which the word Gamaliel means camel of the power, camel of God. Okay, and that's what the word or the letter Ga represents, Gamal or camel. And if you look at it, if you draw it out, a stick figure, you could get a camel with one hump on it. Okay. Now the next letter is the letter Da, and the Da is pronounced Da, and then the Hebrew word for Da is Dalath, which means door, and pretty much represented the door of a tent. You know, like if you look at a tent, it's usually, you know, certain tents are, you know, especially just quick ones that you put up, are really in a triangular form. Let's just type in tent, see what we get. See, it's they're usually like in a triangular form. You know, they get fancy now, but that was the door, because you were going through the door. That's the lath. You were going through the door. Okay. So that's what the da represents, and that's the fourth letter in the Hebrew alphabet, and the numerical value of this is the number 1. Okay. The numerical value of the ba is 2. I just put it right next to it. The numerical value of the ga is 3. Okay. The numerical value of the da is 4. Okay. Now the next letter we have is the letter ha, which the pronunciation is ha. And there's no, for this particular one, there's no they don't really have a word for it, you know, what it means. But if you look at it, it kind of looks like if you turn it sideways, it kind of looks like a rake or some kind of farming tool, you know. But we don't really know what it is. You know, Esau tries to give, you know, names to everything, but you know, so far as we know, which, you know, what the scriptures say, we know in part, so we prophesy in part. So the next letter that we have here is the wa, which is pronounced wa, and it comes from the Hebrew word wa, which means hook. Okay, it means hook. All right, and you can see it looks like a hook, you know. And then the next one, the next letter after the Salakia, the numerical value of the ha is 5, and the numerical value of the wa is 6. Okay, the next letter, which numerical value of it is 7, is the za. Oh. Okay, for some reason it jumped to a, okay, I know why, because I never changed it. All right, za, which the letter za comes from the Hebrew word zayan, which the Hebrew word zayan means weapon. You have some brothers with the name Zayan. You know, if you take the za, you know, you can have the, you know, like Moab has the 3 different sticks. You know, that's like used as a weapon, or you can have different types of weapons from it. But the Hebrew letter za is from the Hebrew word zayan, which means weapon. So the next letter we have is the cha. Now the cha, spare me 1 second, is the 8th. The numerical value is 8, and the pronunciation is cha, like that, cha. And this particular one also does not have a word, you know, that explains what the cha is. I mean, it looks like a ladder, you know. It could be a number of things, but for now we don't know, so we'll leave it alone. So the next letter, the numerical value for it is 9, and that's the ta. I'm Salaki. That's the ka. Nope, I'm sorry, I was right. It's the ta. All right, and the ta also has no definition for where it came from. You know, you could draw your conclusions of what it could be, but for now we don't know what it means, so we leave it alone. But the numerical value is 9. The pronunciation is ta. The next letter that we have is the ya, and the numerical value of the ya is 10, and the pronunciation is ya, and the letter ya comes from the Hebrew word yad, which means hand. And if you look at it, you could turn it sideways. You could see like the thumb and the rest of the fingers coming together. You could make a ya. You know. I wish I had a. Let me see, fingers and thumb together, like an illustration to show you. But if you some similar to this here, but if you turn it the other way, you'll see a little better. Yeah, that's the best one that I see that can explain it. If you was to turn it, that one up top, if you was to turn it, you could actually make the character known as the Ya in the Hebrew. Okay, so it's hand. Okay, the next letter in the Hebrew alphabet, which numerical value is 20. Why it jumps to 20, I have no clue, no idea. But what we know in part, we'll get in the kingdom. And this is the Ka. All right, and the Ka, which is pronounced Ka, comes from the Hebrew word Kaph, which means palm of hand. Okay, and when you look at the palm of your hand, let's see if they'll show something here. Palm of hand. If you look at the palm of your hand, you could kind of see the Ka, like right here. If you look at this is how the Ka. It goes in a semicircular, and then it has the lines inside of it. That's the Ka, or Kaph. See, Ka. That's Kaph. It's palm of the hand. Okay, and that's what the Ka signifies, the palm of the hand. All right, the next letter that we have, the numerical value is 30, and that is the La, which comes from the pronunciation is La, comes from the Hebrew word lamad, and this is very easy and simple. It's not hard to be understood. It doesn't give you a headache trying to figure it out, because that's how our language is. Our language is very easy to be understood, but these devils want to make it hard. That's why they put all that other nonsense in it. So the word La is numerical value 30, pronounced La. It's from the Hebrew word lamad, which means learn. And if you look at the La, certain instances it looks like a coiled up serpent, because a serpent is supposed to be known for its wisdom. So that the La is 30, La, lamad, to learn. Okay, the next Hebrew character is the Ma, and its numerical value is 40. Pronunciation is Ma. Comes from the Hebrew word mayum, which the Hebrew word mayum means water, and it kind of looks like waves of the water. It looks like waves of the water. All right, so that's what it means. Okay. The next one is the Na, and if you're bored of this lesson, then you could always move on to something else. There's booty shaking videos on YouTube. You could go to Nate and a fun day, and all that other good stuff that if you want to go to that. The next letter is the Na, which numerical value of the Na is 50, and the pronunciation is Na. And this one also does not have a meaning of what it is. We can only speculate, but we'll get everything perfect in the kingdom. Okay, now the next letter on the list is, let me just get that, numerical value is 60, it's the sa, and sa comes from the Hebrew word samak, which means support. And if you look at this, you turn it to the side, it looks like a support, some type of support, you know? And that's what it means. It means support. All right, that's the sa. The next one, next letter on the list is the only letter in the Hebrew alphabet that has a different sound than the rest of the letters, which is the I. Okay, and that I character comes from the Hebrew word ayan, which the word Hebrew word ayan is the actual eye. And if you look at it, it looks just like an eye. It's round, just like an eye. Okay, that's an easy one. All right, now the next letter is the pa, and the pa is numerical value is 80. It's pronounced pa, and it comes from the Hebrew word pa, which is pa ha, connected pa. Okay, and pa is mouth. It represents the word mouth. And if you look at it, if you open your mouth like a gaping mouth, let's see if they show a gaping mouth from the side. From side. See? That's the pa. I had to show the nigga woman's mouth, big ass mouth. So the pa is mouth. Okay? That's the mouth from the side. As we see in this illustration here. You can see it. That's where they got, you know, and like I said, everything is simple. It's practical. You know, it's not hard. It's not hard to, you know, to understand. It's very simple and easy to grasp. It's very simple and easy to pronounce. You know, it sounds, it's soothing, you know. Now the next one is the letter Tazah, which is numerical value 90, pronounced Tazah. And this one also does not have a meaning to it, you know. So we're jumping on to the next one, which is the Hebrew word, Hebrew letter or character Kwa. And the Hebrew character Kwa, numerical value is 100. It's pronounced Kwa, and it doesn't really say what this is, but it looks like, if you turn it to the side or downwards, it looks like a shovel. You know, it could be anything, you know. But like I said, we'll get whatever we don't know on this side, we'll get when the kingdom is established. We have what we need, the basic fundamentals that we need for now. All right, the next letter is the Ra, and the numerical value of Ra is 200. It's pronounced Ra, and it comes from the word, Hebrew word Ra'ash. And the Hebrew word Ra'ash means head. And if you look at it, it looks like a head. You got the head up here and then the neck, you know. So that's the Hebrew word Ra, or character Ra is Ra'ash for head. And it looks like a head, a stick figure head. All right. The next letter on the list is the Shah, numerical value 300, pronunciation Shah, and it comes from the Hebrew word shun, which the Hebrew word shun means tooth. And if you look at a tooth, this looks like the bottom of the tooth when they pull it out. Let's see. Extracted tooth. See right here? See the bottom of the tooth? How the bottom of the tooth looks? You know, it has that split. Well, that's where the Hebrew word or the Hebrew character Shah comes from. You know, shun, which is tooth. Okay? Then the last letter, the 22nd letter, is Tha. The numerical value is 400. The pronunciation is tha, and it comes from the Hebrew word thawa, which means it means like a mark, sign, or end. Okay, that's the end. That's why Yahweh said, I am the I and the tha. All right. They could also signify the cross. It looks like a cross, but that's pretty much the Hebrew characters, all 22, with the numerical value, pronunciation, and some of them with the meaning, the Hebrew word and the meaning of the Hebrew word for each one of these characters, and this is something that we, the Apostle Torah's Spirit has been on them heavy to push the Hebrew again. So this is what we're getting back into. Leave you with this last scripture, Jeremiah 6:16. Thus saith the Lord, stand ye in the ways and see, and ask for the old paths, where is the good way, and walk therein, and you shall find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk therein. So you're going to have some that's going to listen, and you're going to have some that's not going to listen. I'm not sure if this is Job 8 or Job 32. Right here, Job 8 and 8. For inquire, I pray thee, of the former age, and prepare thyself to the search of their fathers. So, because we lost our heritage, and now we're getting it back. And part of our heritage consists of a language. We weren't speaking sign language, We weren't making sounds or grunting like Esau was. We had a spoken language, and the spoken language had vowels as well as consonants. All right, because these devils try to say, well, there was no vowels in the Hebrew language. That's a goddamn lie. How did they speak it then? By sign language? These devils are too much, man. They're too much. It says, for we are but of yesterday and know nothing, because our days upon the earth are a shadow. And we're being brought back to our heritage and to our language. All right. So those that say nay, later for you. And those of you brothers that really understand this, more power to you. May the Spirit continue to increase you, and may you continue to learn and be sealed unto that day. And with that, I hope you brothers have been edified. To the next time I say Shalom.